Tom Laipply Podcast.
Okay, good morning. Look, I reiterated my demand of Secretary Hegseth in front of all 100 senators that he allow every senator to see the unedited version, the unedited video of what happened on September 2nd. He refused. The administration came to this briefing empty-handed. That's the major question that we face. And if they can't be transparent on this, how can you trust their transparency on all the other issues swirling about in the Caribbean? Every senator is entitled to see it. If there is no problem with sources and methods, because the senators will see it in the skiff. I also believe that every American should see an appropriate version of this, of the unedited, they should see an appropriate version of what happened on September the 2nd. I saw it. It was deeply troubling. In my Gang of Eight meeting last week, I asked Secretary Hegseth, let every senator see it. He said he'd think about it. Today, he came up with no answer and no tape.
It is the 22nd bipartisan briefing we've had on a highly successful mission to counter designated terrorist organizations, cartels, bringing weapons meaning drugs, to the American people and poisoning the American people for far too long. So we're proud of what we're doing, able to lay it out very directly to these senators and soon to the House, but it's all classified. We can't talk about it now. We're also going to tomorrow allow the HASC and SASC to see the unedited video of the September 2nd, alongside with Admiral Bradley, who has done a fantastic job, has made all the right calls, and we're glad he'll be there to do it. But in keeping with long-standing Department of War policy, Department of Defense policy, of course we're not going to release a top-secret, full, unedited video of that to the general public. HASC and SASC and appropriate committees will see it, but not the general public.
Today I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
That's the thing. He is a con man. He cons people. He told them he was going to go after the bad people. And I knew better. I knew that he was going to do what he had always done. This is a guy that was locking children in cages in his first administration. So I trusted and believed his actions and not his words.
The platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claims her son was pulled over by ICE agents and asked to prove his citizenship. And when the son berated the cops saying, "Do you know who my dad is?" they said, "Yes, your uncle."
She's done politically now.
Regardless.
Now, whether she knows that, I don't know. But I got to give the woman props. She has turned failing upwards into an art form.
Yeah.
She was a do-nothing AG in California, then became a do-nothing senator. She got to be a DEI vice president, ended up as the worst presidential candidate in modern history. And what was the payoff for that? A $20 million book advance for a book that no one wants to read and no one's going to buy. So props to you, Kamala. You did it.
let's go back. The One Big Beautiful Bill was passed on July 4th, but for working Americans, it was retroactive to the beginning of the year. Most taxpayers did not change their withholding, so as a result, we're going to see very substantial 100 to 150 billion of refunds in the first quarter go directly to Americans' pockets. So the sooner they file, the sooner they'll get them. Our estimate is it could be 1,000, 2,000 per household, depending on the number of workers.
Wow, that is a big deal. So, Secretary, you've talked about this additional money from the tax code that we're getting. You talked about the impact of the Big Beautiful Bill. It sounds like you think we're going to get a real economic boost for the macro story in the first or second quarter. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I think it's going to... They start lifting off in the first quarter and the second quarter. And Maria, the other thing, when I started my career on Wall Street in the 80s, people used to focus on trade. Were we building more in the U.S. or were we importing more? We're seeing the trade deficit drop too. So the trade deficit drop means more production in the U.S. So I think that's something that economists are going to have to start looking again, thanks to President Trump after 40 years.
Well, you're proposing a major shift now in how the government approaches financial stability.
Yes, October and November for the big jobs report. The only thing is it's not Friday. Here we go. November's number comes in at 64,000. 64,000 on non-farm. And if we look at average hourly earnings, they are up 0.1% year over year, up 3.5.
And if you do that, then you're looking at private sector gains of about 120,000, maybe 121. And then we dropped about 160,000 government workers, federal government workers, who are the people who took the buyout that, we began that program in the spring and gave people to the fall to step aside. And so I think that from the private sector point of view, it's just about what we've been getting all year. It's solid upward trajectory. The president's private sector job creation since he took office about 700,000 jobs. And so I think that, like the vast majority of the Bloomberg people polled were surprised on the upside. And I think that we were surprised kind of not at all. We think it's about on trend is what's happening.
Yeah, although we might sort of have a bit of a boost next year. I mean, one, we have hopefully some certainty around tariffs. We just never knew what they were going to be because there's so much flux. So hopefully that calms down. And also we have a lot of the sort of corporate tax credits finally coming along from Big Beautiful Bill. So we might see a bit of a sort of uptick in hiring hopefully next year as sort of all this sort of expansionary policy takes shape. And hopefully we have some more certainty around the tariffs.
Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody.
Get away, get away.
How are you doing today?
Get away, get away.
I'm Joseph Filibenial.
Get away.
Follow Jesus, Maxine.
Stay away.
Stop being corrupt. Follow Jesus, Maxine. God's watching you, Maxine.
All right, Tuesday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed. In the mighty name of Jesus, we're going to cover everything tonight that we possibly can cover that happened today and that continues to happen from the shootings and everything else. Let me see who is on the chat. JGCK is on. General Plowman is on. Prayerworks 2 is on. Guitar Glenn is on. Aggravate is on. Robin Aroni is on. Spaz64 is on. Mr. Cool Dude is on. Gloyd Shaw is on. Trev McGroin is on. Jules 21 Hours is on. Arcadia Angel is on. Big Scott 1 is on. Let me see here. N. Johns is on. Let me see. Scrolling down. Granite 2468 is on. USA Abbey Girl is on. Scooter Magruder is on. Bud 64 is on. Captain Cliff is on. Let me see here. Veronica 18201 is on. The one and only Release the Hog is on. Charlie 340 is on. DK Jackson's on. Sheila K is on. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Conservative Waffle is on. My Broken Heart is on. Jim Brody is on. Uncle Wally is on. Milwaukee James is on. If I didn't say it already, USA Abigail is on. Aphrodites is on. Richard Perry is on. Let me see here. One Fast Rob is on. Those Jesus people is on. Let me grab a couple more. Volvo 960 is on. Stephen Toms is on. Leon Fish Puppy is on. Hector Antonio is on. Confederate 1 is on. Key Lime 13 is on. B Chilled is on. Biggie 926 is on. K4 VMS is on. Let me see here. I got that one. TJT1 is on. Let me grab one more. Let me see. The one I haven't seen yet. Scrolling down. Let me see. A lot of you guys put a lot of posts on here right off the bat with a lot of dancing bananas. So it takes me a while to get to the bottom. I haven't gotten to the bottom yet. Let me see here. Oh, there's one. Sunwoo 45 is on. JBC 2020 is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right, let's go to the Brown shooting first. And then I got a little bit on the Australia. There's a stack of stuff right here. There's a stack right there. See that? What do you think, Aaron? What do you think? How far will we get?
First clip.
Okay, that's it. That's all you're giving that one.
Well,
right
how many
there?
is on that?
Not many.
Okay. Third clip.
All right, third. You think we'll get to there?
Yeah, third.
All right, there's what Aaron's got. I'll mark it right here. That's what Aaron thinks will be done tonight.
Yeah.
It's 9/11. You know, I mean, it's 9/11.
It's 9/11.
I got over an hour, so here we go. I mean, although I'm supposed to be done at 10, but anyway. Yeah. I'm not keeping my word. But anyway, so the immediate response from the globalist left is, of course, to do what? Ban all the guns. Of course, I mean, that's what it always is. Makes you think that a lot of these things are ops, of course. This, and we'll get into this, this appears to be, in the last I saw, there hadn't been an arrest. Aaron, you double check it if you can. I don't think there's been an arrest of the suspect or anything else. Appears to be an Islamic male. Then you said the Islamic shooter over in Australia, too, which we'll deep dive into that in just a minute. But anyway, Eric Doherty video breaking. Speculation is swirling after Brown University allegedly scrubs Free Palestine activist, good luck with this one, Mustafa Karbach from their webpage. So I don't know why he's on the Brown wedge page. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Center for Middle East Studies. That's why he's on there. So suddenly this has all been erased from existence. Remember, the provincial police yesterday, for the Providence police, they couldn't answer any questions about whether or not this guy screamed out the word Allahu Akbar. They couldn't answer those questions. But Brown swoops in today, Brown University, swoops in today and scrubs their own website. Remember, just like Anthony Fauci did with gain of function research. And you're supposed to actually believe these people. And I know that I always say this, but I guess I just need to get over it. But then all the Christians actually listen to these people. I'm not talking about those of us that are on this podcast right now because we're all red-pilled. I'm talking about all the Christians, and most conservatives still believe the propaganda that comes from quote-unquote experts, that comes from quote-unquote establishments. And I mean establishments, not just the establishment, but establishments like Brown University and police departments. These left-leaning police departments, it's not even that they're left-leaning, they are leftist police departments in leftist jurisdictions. And leftist people don't get prosecuted in these leftist jurisdictions. And leftist criminals get released all the time in these leftist jurisdictions, while conservatives get prosecuted and sent to prison for years in these leftist jurisdictions, like this one here, where they won't even answer the most elementary of questions. Did the guy yell something before he started shooting? That's part of the investigation. Hey, Aaron, you correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you don't have to say anything, but jump in. How would that, is it me, or how would that affect the investigation at all by acknowledging that he screamed something?
It wouldn't.
Really? I mean, because is it me?
No.
Because I'm like, how would that, because they said this is an ongoing investigation. If you publicly acknowledge that witnesses said that he shouted Allahu Akbar right before he started shooting or as he started shooting, how exactly would that affect an ongoing investigation? I'm just curious how that works. As somebody who's actually not this level, I've never done a homicide investigation, but I've done investigations. So I'm just wondering how that would affect the investigation. But anyway, so speculation is swirling after Brown University allegedly scrubs Free Palestine activist Mustafa Karbach from their webpage. Play it for me. So it's just strange, isn't it? You have a shooting one day, and then the next day, nothing gets scrubbed, but the Muslim page. Put the next one up for me. This guy's page. So suddenly, this guy who's in charge of Islamic studies or Islamic club or whatever it was on campus, suddenly only that gets scrubbed. And still to this day, they have not even acknowledged that this guy is a suspect. It's nothing even been acknowledged by the Providence Police Department yet. Joshua Hall tweet, breaking, Brown University, Rhode Island shooting suspect has been identified as Mustafa Karbach, a radical Islamic pro-jihad student at Brown whose X account has suddenly mysteriously disappeared. Not only has the website on the Brown University, that's been scrubbed, but suddenly his X account was scrubbed. Just like Thomas Crooks had no social media footprint at all until we discovered there was dozens of social media footprints. Weird, isn't it? And so I'm not really a genuinely black-pilled person. I'm not. But everything's crap. Boy, that makes me sound black-pilled. I mean, it really is. Everything is crap.
It's just true.
It's just lies. I mean, it's people covering up things for their own selfish purposes. Whatever those selfish purposes are, and I could spend an hour diving into what each person involved in all these investigations, what their selfish purposes are, whether it's just keeping their job, whether it's financial, whether it's political for themselves or for others, whatever it may be. This is why the Democrat authorities in Providence and mainstream media have been covering up his identity from us. It's not a very good look narrative from them. Karbach has reportedly now fled the university and is missing. I wonder, why would he leave? I mean, this guy who's like got his own, he's got his own page on the university website.
Yeah.
And it's been scrubbed by the university, and all of his social media footprint has been removed. Who would remove it? I don't know how that works. Who would remove it? Who would have the power to remove it? Is it the FBI requesting X take it down? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I didn't think anybody could just come in. Can somebody just come in and delete my account? I don't know.
No.
Besides me, Aaron's answering. There you go.
It would be you or the FBI.
Right. So, I mean, who came in there and deleted all Thomas Crooks' stuff?
Yeah.
Why do we know nothing about Ryan Routh? Nothing about Thomas Crooks? I mean, why do we know nothing about any of these people? It's truly amazing, isn't it? But anyway, so here he is. So let me go to the next one. Nick Sorter video breaking. Here's the latest video release. You can just side by side this one. I don't think it has any sound or nothing, but here's the latest video release from the FBI. Enhanced. They actually enhanced it. Boy, that's great, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just fantastic. I mean, and by the way, that looks just like him. But he's masked too, though. Masked in 2025. See, but do you see the precedent that the globalist left sets? Where you're not allowed. Now, back in the day, if you committed a crime and you were walking down the street looking masked like this guy, everybody would know that you committed a crime. But now they've normalized criminals hiding their faces, and that's all on purpose. Could it be on purpose for this specific assassin? And who did he kill? He killed the head of the Republican Club, a conservative. I mean, you're talking about the most liberal institution in the Ivy League is Brown, and one of the two people that were killed was the head of the conservative, a Christian conservative, and was the head of a Republican student caucus. And this does look like the fat turd Mustafa. It does, and he's disappeared. I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it, that nobody can find this guy? The video looks just like this guy, fat like that guy. He's masked, of course. And now he's disappeared. And if you look at the tactics of what were done during this shooting, where they locked down the campus for 12 hours so that nobody could do anything for 12 hours. Nobody could look for this guy. Nobody could do anything for 12 hours. It's almost like they want the guy to get away. I mean, and again, you're like, are you stating that, Tom, that that's what you believe? No, I mean, no, I'm not stating that's what I believe. I said it's almost like that. And now you have to look at every single one of these shootings with great skepticism because none of it makes any sense at all. Charlie Kirk's shooting makes no sense whatsoever. The Crooks assassination attempt on Trump makes no sense whatsoever. Ryan Routh's attempt on Trump makes no sense whatsoever. And this, how the attacks ran here. The president of the university, 6 hours into into the shooting, 6 hours after the shooting. So 6 hours had happened since the shooting, had no idea why those students were meeting in that room. How do you not know? And she was held to account by finally a decent reporter. Said, how in the world, the reporter's like, with all due respect, how is it that you as the president of the university have no idea what those students were even doing in that room 6 hours after the shooting? The inept leadership. And that's the thing. You're always vacillating between ineptitude or conspiracy. Whether it's ineptitude or, these people are just way out of their element. They're just completely incompetent. Or they're in on some sort of scheme, some sort of fraud, whatever it may be. So you have no idea. They locked down the university. The president has no idea what's going on. And this is still the best footage that we have with a campus with 800 HD cameras on campus. And one of the excuses was the shooting occurred in an older building. What does that have to do with cameras? Like cameras can't be mounted in older buildings? I mean, let me enlighten you. You can bring it back to me. I just can't stop looking at it. But anyway, what does an older building have to do with things? I'm just going to clue in everybody on this. The building that I'm sitting in right now was built when I was a senior in high school. I'm 57. That I'm sitting in right now. We are very technologically advanced.
Yeah.
Very. Okay, we can live stream. We are as powerful really as anybody. We can live stream anywhere. We can do anything. You know why? Because you can run the new wires into old buildings.
What?
Yeah. We have a full-fledged HD camera system here too.
Wow.
You know why? Because Aaron hires people and does some of it himself. And they actually put the latest equipment in a building that was built in 1986. And the excuse coming from the president of Brown University is, or maybe it wasn't the president because the president's a female. It was a male who said it. Is that it's an older building. What does that have to do with anything? You can't run wires in an older building? I mean, I don't even know what to say. Go, Aaron.
Oh, I was just going to say two things. Not only with the older building, it sounds like the roof was too slow. And then another thing is, I don't know if you saw, but on that guy's Twitter bio, his pronouns were he, them. So that would be 11 out of the last 11 being transgender shooters.
Right. There we go. Oh, wow. No, I did not notice his pronouns. There you go. And of course, I mean, it's only possibly him but he's disappeared. His website.
Right.
I mean, social media has been erased. And his site on the university, he had a site on his own. He had what would it be called? A site with a page on the university website.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a big deal. You got your own page on Brown University's website. It's been scrubbed into non-existence. And he's disappeared.
Strange.
That it's only, and of course, this checks all the boxes for us. Another trans Islamic shooter. But of course, the answer to it all is to ban guns from people like you and me. Make sure that all the white people have no guns. That's what you do, right? You have the shooters in Australia. The solution from Anthony Albanese is ban all the white people from getting guns. And white supremacist terrorists are the main threat. That's the answers that we're getting. You're like, Tom, that's absolutely asinine. It's AA. Absolutely asinine. Yes. But why is it that they're allowed to get away with it? Because people allow them to get away with it. When they tell you to put on a mask, not you that are watching this podcast. I know that we're the ones that stand out. We're the ones that stand up and stand out. But what happens is that people, when these idiots tell them to do something, they do it. The favorite word of the left, they comply. All right, let's go to the next one. Where am I at? Next order?
Jesse Waters.
Jesse Waters. Thank you, buddy. Jesse Waters, video breaking. Clueless local leaders in Providence just admitted they're tired. Here is basically a nice little expose on the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island. Play for me.
But Providence is on edge. They're being told to remain calm, but don't have a lot of confidence in city officials.
There's been no new, credible, specific threat anywhere in the Providence community.
With respect, Mayor, there was no threats made prior to the shooting, so how can people feel safe with that information?
The way in which we are trying to reassure our residents is through a noted, visible police presence throughout the community.
The shooter could still be in Providence, or he could be in Virginia. Mayor Smiley says he went to go look for him at a pizza joint and grabbed the slice while he was on the clock.
I talked to one of the women at Antonio's, which some of you know is a pizza by the slice joint, and she said, I didn't want to come to work today, but I needed to work. I needed to take the shift. And that's a very real thing happening in our community right now.
The best video we have of this guy is a Ring camera shot where you can't see his face. But Mayor Smiley says he just wants to go to bed.
Everyone you see behind us, we've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired.
Tired? 2 students are dead, 9 in the hospital. And you have no clue what happened. Smiley wasn't tired when he was marching for gay pride or fighting Trump.
The question is whether actions like this will actually help us get to zero. I don't think they will. Community policing works. Having local law enforcement with a relationship with the neighborhoods that they are policing and patrolling works. Sending in National Guards men and women who have not been trained in urban policing, are not trained community police officers, isn't going to make our cities any safer.
Imagine if they had the National Guard in Providence. That shooter probably wouldn't have opened fire. The Rhode Island Attorney General, all he does is sue Trump and resist ICE. And his office is completely out of control. His assistant is the lawyer who got intoxicated last summer and assaulted officers, remember?
I don't want to arrest you guys.
You're not going to arrest us. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a
I'm an AG. I'm an AG. I'm an AG. But you're going to regret this.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it. I'm an AG.
What kind of office is this guy running? Families want answers. Hundreds of students just fled campus. The city's on a brink. And the locals are whining that they're tired. Every day the manhunt goes on, the less likely it is to get justice. Let's hope they crack this case. If you have any information, please reach out to the FBI and the Providence Police Department.
Now, you just notice, of course, Brett Smiley, mayor of Providence, who's tired. You know, his mass shooting in his community. He's tired, though. You just notice how socially incoherent these people are. Aaron was talking about it because they actually, it reminded him of the Schumer video from yesterday where Schumer says, I mean, literally in one sentence, I'm going to talk about the horrific mass shooting in Australia, but first, go Bills. That's how, when you butcher the unborn, you're like, Tom, all you talk about is abortion. This is where it starts there. If you can murder people in the womb, you're a murderer. That's who you are. If you've had an abortion in your life, you need to ask for forgiveness by God for murdering. That's a fact, and he'll forgive you. Forgive every sin. But anyway, upon repentance. But you see the social ineptitude of these people. They're horrible, wretched human beings. You have Brett Smiley, an effeminate man, as usual. Everywhere we go, there's no manly man. You can roll them, Aaron. I don't care how many you put up while I'm talking about this. You can roll them over and over again. You have a man with his arm around another man, probably his husband, with their poodle. And another effeminate man. We don't elect any manly men anymore. And a lot of times conservatives don't want to elect manly men because they feel like they're not electable. Bull crap. Let's just start. If we lose, we lose. Let's just start putting up people who are actual manly men, real conservatives. But then you see Brett Smiley here, effeminate man. He's talking, look at his social incoherence. He's talking about, he's sitting at a pizza by the slice joint. First of all, who says joint? I don't think I've ever said that in my life. I'm 57. Okay, where I've ever described anything as a joint. Hey, you guys want to go meet me at the breakfast joint? You want to go meet me at the Waffle House joint? You want to go meet me at the steakhouse joint? Who does that? They're off. They're like literally those movies that you watch where those horror movies where it starts off with the perpetrator is like slightly off and gets more and more and more off. You know what I'm talking about? Or people they get, initially one of the zombie apocalypse movies or shows where they get bit initially and they're normal at first and they keep disintegrating more and more into zombiehood. Well, that's what these people are. It's like they can't maintenance the facade, the veneer all the time. So it slips out. You are at a press conference talking about the slaughtering of 2 students and the wounding, I believe it was how many others? I can't remember. It's in the teens. How many others? 40 some odd round shots, something along those lines. And you're talking about you're sitting at a pizza by the slice joint? What are you doing? Why would that even ever come up? Because they have no respect for human life outside of their own. They have no respect. They don't care if they lock up people for the rest of their lives for crimes that don't exist, that were never committed. Yes, I mean both of those things. Never existed and never committed, like J6 prisoners. They're locked up for crimes that didn't exist, that they didn't even commit, that didn't exist. So they don't care. They don't care about killing people. They don't care until it lands on their own doorstep. And believe me, I'm not advocating for violence in any way, shape, or form. Their own policies will eventually land on their own doorsteps. Yeah, my gosh, look at this guy. Pizza by the slice. Look at, I mean, gosh, here's, you know what pains me the most? You know what absolutely pains me the most? Men voted for him. Yeah. You're a man in Providence. What kind of man are you? I mean, basically all I see now, even from right-wing Republicans and leftist Democrats, are like the epitome of girl dads. Ugh. I don't know how to describe it any more than that. I have a girl. I have a daughter. I'm just saying though, they're like cucked out guys. And even right-wing pundits who are flamethrowers are still they're flamethrowers everywhere but their wife. And they'll always say, yeah, I'm a right-wing flamethrower or even an evangelical flamethrower. But you know what? If mama ain't happy, whole house isn't happy. And then, I'm like, please find your balls. I don't know where they are. Maybe you taped them up. I'm talking about every Republican, conservative, flamethrower, pastor, whatever. Please find your balls and quit being ruled by women. Yeah. I love women. I've been married to I've been with my wife. We've been married for 29 years. We've been together for 32. I love my daughter. I love women. I prefer even to do business with women because they always answer my phone. Men don't. And I'm not good at answering phones either. Just so you know. True. I'm not. So, that's the thing. That's why we have no title on the show tonight. Aaron sent me a text. I never answered it. I never saw it. Till 8:35. It was too late.
Too late.
Too late then. He's already put it out. But anyway, so I'm not. That's why I prefer not to do business with me. With people like me. So anyway, I love women. But the thing is, I'm certainly not going to take orders from them. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm not happening. I'm just ruled by my daughters. They just own the purse strings of my heart. That's how men ended up voting for this. Oh man, I've almost said something really bad. That's how they end up voting for this guy.
That is his husband, by the way.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
He's married to a man.
Yep.
So he is receiving from the taller guy every night.
Yep.
And men vote for that crap in Providence, Rhode Island. And look at the crowd out there too. And it just figures he's gay, but he's tired and he's at a pizza by the slice joint. Moving to Australia, R3 Tards Down Under video breaking. New South Wales police confirm that one of the shooters, Sajid Akram, the father, was issued a firearms license. Oh, I thought, wait a minute. So one of the shooters abided by their firearms laws, which is full confiscation in Australia, and you have to apply, and it takes a long period of time to ever get. And an absolute full rectal examination to ever get a gun in Australia. And by the way, let me just throw this out to everybody too. Credit Nick Fuentes on this because I was listening to him and as he was reading off of the New York Times. Tom, you listen to Nick Fuentes? Yeah, I listen to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is the hottest social media pundit, whatever you call him. What do you call influencer?
Yeah, influencer. Yeah.
In the nation. The hottest. I didn't say he's the biggest. He's the hottest in the nation. I listen to Tucker too, and they hate each other. I listen to both. Okay, I listen to pro-Israel people and I listen to anti-Israel people. I listen to Piers Morgan. I'll listen to anybody putting out information because I want to know, and I'll decide whether I'll say it or not, whether it's true or not. But he said in this particular shooting, their intel agencies, in other words, their FBI, already knew about both these guys.
Oh,
and he says, when was the last time? Fuentes said this. When was the last time you have ever heard of a mass shooter who wasn't already known by the state police? And by state police, I mean that they don't, by the governmental police or the national police force. When? Every single shooter we ever hear of. When I'm talking about a legit sort of governmental style mass shooting, not like the one at Brown University or whatever, but that could be. I'm talking about one at this level. It's obviously politically driven. When was the last time you haven't? And these guys, both of them, again, credit Nick Fuentes and all this. And he was reading off of the New York Times, which actually had an excellent article on this. Unbelievably, but either the dad or the son or both, because people who shoot together stay together. People who mass assassinate Jews stay together, stay together. And because that's what this was, obviously a political attack. Now, what was it driven by? We don't know yet. Was it just pure Jew hatred? Don't know. Was it just simply anti-Jewish stuff? Who knows? Or could it be a murky October 7th, 2023 kind of thing? Mm-hmm. You just never, do you know anymore? Nobody knows anymore. Nobody has any idea I mean, I have so much in my head right now that I could deep dive into about what the motivations are, but I'm going to try to stay on task. But anyway, both or one of these guys, I believe it was the son, though. Don't hold me to it. And you can deep dive into it. You can watch Fuentes' Rumble show from yesterday. He deep dives into this. Went to the Philippines. It was trained by, they have an Islamic sector in the Philippines. That's really smart, isn't it? Always import your killers. It's smart, isn't it? Both of them was trained there, all at the knowledge of the Australian government. See, the Australian government watches them, imports their own rapists and murderers, watches them then go to the Philippines to get militarily trained, and then allows them back in and gives them firearms licenses. New South Wales Police Department. Play it for me.
I would like to correct a record. I have been indicating that Sajid Akram, the 50-year-old male, has held a firearms licence since 2015. Mr Akram applied for that licence on the 8th of October 2015, and it was recommended that it be issued in November 2015. I'm advised that he did not get a photo taken as required by that licence, and the application lapsed in 2016. A second Category AB licence was applied for Mr Akram in 2020. That licence was recommended for issue and issued in 2023. I think it's important that the transparent nature of the investigation provides that change. The initial information had been that it had been issued in 2015, and I think it's important to give that detail. He was licensed to hold a Category AB licence, and the firearms that we have seized were attached to that licence appropriately.
But don't worry, they were carrying the only guns you're allowed to carry in Australia. Not a lot of AR-15s or semi-automatics. They had bolt-action rifles. Again, Tampon Tim's out there right now talking about, he's up next, actually. Tampon Tim's out there talking right now about, I could easily define what an assault rifle is without ever defining it. Well, doesn't define it because there is no definition for it. But anyway, so you can do a lot of damage if you're trained. Now, again, I don't know which one was father or son. I believe it was son that went over there, was trained by the Philippines, but by the jihadists in the Philippines. And they knew their federal police force, their FBI, their version of their FBI, they knew about all this. And they were watching the son and then gave the dad a firearms license. And nobody can get a fire. And they give him a firearm license in 2023. I don't know when in 2023 it was, whether it was before or after October 7th of 2023. I don't know, but it's almost as if they want people to conduct mass shootings. Now, why would anybody ever want somebody to conduct a mass shooting? And you're like, well, what side are they on then? Neither. What they are on, when I mean the Australian government, I'm talking about Five Eyes. I'm talking about the Five Eyes governments, which includes our own. That's, of course, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States. So you have the Five Eyes countries, all run by leftist, globalist, bourgeois elitists, whether corporate or governance or the merging therein, which is fascism. Why would you have it? I mean, I want you to think about this. If you say something anti-Semitic in London, you get arrested. 13,000 speech arrests per year. If you say something anti-Islamic, you get arrested. Now, what's funny is I don't know if an Islamic person, if they said something anti-Semitic, whether they get arrested, though. Or whether a Jewish person who has said something anti-Islamic would get arrested. Who gets arrested? The white people or just the native heritage? When I say whites, I don't always just mean white. I just mean a lot of times the people in the Western culture, the people who are heritage citizens of that state. They're the ones who get arrested for criticizing either one. But either one doesn't get arrested for criticizing each other. So whose side are these governments on? They're on the side of importing the calamity. Now, the calamities each have their own agendas too. The calamity of Muslims and the calamity of Israel have their own agendas also, which works for who? It works for the people who want a global government because they use the calamity. They import the Muslim rapists. You just remove Israel out of it, or remove Jews out of it for a minute, and just look at the victimization of women. In Sweden, the rape rate's up 40%, and almost all the rapes are being committed by low IQ, inbred Muslims are raping women. So then what happens? Well, it serves the globalist, leftist, bourgeois, elitist agenda, which is you now need our protection from the people that we imported. You now need us to solve the problem that we caused for you. That's the purpose of it. And if they can bring in some Islam versus Jew infighting and all of that causes, then the Jewish population, now you need our protection from the Muslims that we imported. Whatever it is that will help, that's what they want. And then you do have the whole Jewish Israel agenda also, which is nefarious on a good day. I mean, very nefarious. And they're slaughtering of Christians themselves. And I could deep dive into that for half an hour too, but I don't want to get too far off course. But anyway, so back to this. So the solution to this problem that they caused is to go to your heritage citizens and the people who have nothing to do with the crime and remove their guns. And you were the ones who actually armed the perpetrators via your restrictive gun laws that you won't allow me to have one to defend myself, but you will allow my assaulter to have it. I hope everybody can see this big picture, because this is how they leverage you into a one world commerce system with a singular access point to all that commerce, and they control the access. They ban you from the internet. You now have to have an internet ID. Oh, we're just doing that to save the kids. Got nothing to do with the kids. The only people that should be saving kids are the parents of the kids for the safety. But now everybody has to have an internet ID. And don't worry, right now it's voluntary. And you don't necessarily have to have an internet ID to conduct all business. But I can guarantee you 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you're going to have an internet ID to conduct business.
Yeah.
Because there isn't going to be any business outside of the internet. Everything's going to be. It already is. I mean, basically all of us have already slid into it anyway. Even I don't do a lot of it myself, but I ask my wife to do it. I just send her my order and have her order me stuff off the internet all the time. I'm addicted to it. But the thing is, I still will walk. Like for me, I can walk and live alone on the side of a mountain. If you know me well, then you know that's actually true. Yeah. Aaron knows me well. I can literally, if I wasn't pastoring a church, I would have no social media. Yeah. Because I didn't. I was forced finally into having to have social media because I was getting bad-mouthed so much I wanted to defend myself. So, I mean, that was it. But anyway, so the answer to it all is leftist, white, globalist, leftist, bourgeois, elitist politicians banning firearms from their own citizens as they wage war against their own citizens and fight battles for the illegals that they import. They don't only just fight battles, they give them rights, they give them privileges, they give them houses, they give them money, they give them cell phones, while they wage war against their own citizenry and ban the speech of their own citizenry and take the guns of their own citizenry. Here it is right here. Here's Tim Waltz's. This is Tim Waltz's response to the shooting way over in Australia. Play it for me.
But this is a run out the clock. This is the oldest strategy in the world. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we can define what an assault weapon is. I don't know. Do you really think limiting them to less than 100 bullets is going to do anything? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is going to save lives. Just like the extreme risk protection orders, which I can pull quotes from many of these folks who said, this will do nothing. This will not protect lives. This will take away our freedoms. It's time to start reporting that is all bullshit. It does do something. It does make a difference. And to stand here and have to look in the eyes of parents who lost their little ones, shame on them. And shame on us if we don't get this done.
Just one little cursory note here. It's just funny. And I don't cuss, and I don't approve it, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. 2 Timothy 2:6. But now you yourselves are to put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy language out of your mouth. Colossians 3:8. I don't like it, but what's so funny about it is is that all of these people who hate Donald Trump, it's so funny to watch them emulate him, because as soon as Donald Trump started cussing, Tim Walz started cussing, Gavin Newsom started cussing.
Yep.
It's just hysterical to watch these people. You're like, why don't you just build an Ezra pole and worship Donald Trump? Why don't you just do it? Because, Tim, you already do. You act like him. You want to be the leftist version of him. And why don't you just go ahead and worship him? So that's Tim Walz's solution. A shooting in Australia, the solution is to ban all firearms in the United States. That's the solution. All right, so Trump is now suing the BBC, Libs of TikTok video. Breaking, Trump just filed a $5 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC for editing his January 6th speech to make it look like he called for an insurrection. Here's the speech and the edited speech. Play for me.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Yeah, kind of a little distinction, a little difference. Would everybody agree? We're going to go down to the Capitol, and we're going to fight like hell, or we're going down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our legislators. Kind of a difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
The BBC edited it that way. They edited. Wait till I've got more on this too. So they edited it that way. Showed it all over the world, and it was used to prosecute J6. That video was used to prosecute J6 prisoners. Do you ever see the depravity of our culture? What's so funny is that all of these people who are so depraved, they're perverts. They really are. And pervert doesn't just mean sexual perversion. Just perverts. They're absolutely perverted, depraved human beings who lock people up in prison off of edited videos and will not allow them to have exculpatory videos out of the 15,000 hours of actual surveillance videos on the Capitol. They'll put them in prison using an edited BBC video and not to give them exculpatory actual video footage to exonerate them from the crime they did not commit that doesn't exist. That's how, and you're like, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I know that I got somebody put in prison off of my own lies. That's not them. These are demonic human beings. No problem doing this whatsoever. Look at this. I just have to show you this one. I want to give credit, but I'm not sure if I can get this name out. Orlandora, something like that, video. The BBC has always been a joke. Here's chief correspondent Jeremy Bowen pretending to be under a Russian attack when an elderly Ukrainian lady walking her dog stops to make sure he's okay. Play for me.
Amount of incoming fire coming into this now. Artillery fire. There are loads of civilians around. Families coming out. There's a lady there with her dog following on. This is the edge of the town that the Russians have got.
Just the contradiction right off the bat. We're under enemy fire and there's loads of civilians around. That makes no sense, because if you were under an artillery barrage, guess what would not be around? Loads of civilians. And people watch this on the left and believe it. Even some in the middle of the road watch this and believe it. And a woman walking her dog comes up to this guy and asks him, "Are you okay?" And they still played the thing. They still aired it as if it was real. And people eat it up. We saw the video footage of the fake they found the fake prisoner in, what was it, Syria or something like that? We saw the other fake, it may have been the same woman, laying on the ground in Ukraine also.
Yep.
It was the same one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And people just believe these things. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but don't believe anything. Because there's a way that seems right. I need to preach an entire message on Proverbs 14:12.
Yeah.
There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. It may seem correct to you, or seem plausible, or seem righteous, like wear a mask to save a life. It's not. What it is, it's all delusion. It's all lies. It's all illusion, not just delusion. It's all illusion. Don't believe it. It's liars. It's liars who are receiving their orders from the father of lies. Western Lensman video, CNN's resident potato. I don't know why he's back. Why is Stelter back? Why is he back?
Crazy.
He got fired. Why is he back? Well, you can't do anything better. You can't find anybody better than Brian Stelter. CNN's resident potato is beside himself that Trump has filed a $10 billion suit. Play for me.
Number one, a year ago, it was unheard of for a sitting American president to file a lawsuit against a news outlet. This never happened before until President Trump returned to office for a second term. But now, this year, he has sued the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and as of this morning, the BBC. So he is charting a new course, trying to take his war against the news media to court. And it's going to be very difficult for him to do so, but he's trying anyway. Even if these lawsuits are just PR stunts, he is getting the headlines he wants. He is charging defamation against the BBC and arguing that Florida is the appropriate venue for a lawsuit. I spoke with numerous legal experts, media law professors overnight who are very skeptical of Trump's chances, in part because it's going to be hard to prove that he was actually damaged in Florida. But like I said, the headlines might be the point.
Oh, yeah, good luck. Damaged in Florida. It's going to be in a Florida court. Yeah, and very hard, really. Has he lost one of these suits yet? Has he lost any of these personal lawsuits for defamation yet? Nope. It's very likely he's going to win. Especially, I mean, how can you not win? How can you not win when the BBC, the British Broadcasting, what is it? British Broadcasting Corporation.
Yep.
Which is government owned, which is fascism, merging of corporatism and governance is fascism. It's nothing to do with racism. That's what fascism is. But anyway, when you have the video where it said, here's what was actually said, here's what they cut and pasted flawlessly, and it's basically flawlessly to make it look like he said, how do you lose that defamation case? How would you ever lose that defamation case? There's no way. I mean, the only damages that he would have to prove, because defamation is basically you lost money or I mean, there is many ways, especially in a fair court system, for him to prove it. Hopefully the trial is in Florida. All right, Lindell TV video. Here's a video I've never seen before. Bombshell, edited BBC clip. Here's the impact it had on Enrique Tarrio. Play it for me.
We had this conversation when we first knew that this clip was edited just a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about this clip was played at my trial. This exact clip that the BBC played was played at our trial. So not only did it affect the jury pool or affected the president himself, it affected justice, right? And in this case, it was people that were rabid anti-Trumpers in the jury pool. And this did not help the situation at all. By showing those words by the president, I think maybe we might take decisive action against the BBC also. But you also got to think about this, and it's one of the reasons why we're suing the DOJ. The DOJ knew that those weren't the words by the president, and they knew everybody would be fooled by this BBC clip, because it kind of, if you look at it, it kind of looks like it just like flows. It almost looks like one entire clip. And they knew this, and they still brought this forward in front of the jury. And it wasn't, again, until a couple of weeks ago that I figured out that, no, wait, this is not his words. I think they were like 40-something minutes apart. They weren't even close to each other. He wasn't even talking about the same thing.
So just trying to remember everything that Enrique, remember, he was sentenced to 22 years in prison. He'd be in prison right now for the next, 20 years. That's what, I mean, this is real. I mean, this is the real deal. You're someone like me, who's never been really touched by any of it, and I try to make sure that people understand that it's real. And I'm not saying that I have experienced the realness of it, because I haven't. Because I haven't been arrested. I mean, I haven't been arrested for keeping the church open. Now, if Ron DeSantis, 36 hours after Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne was arrested for keeping his church open during COVID back in 2020, in March of 2020, if Ron DeSantis hadn't declared churches essential, and by the way, all the churches still stay closed because they wanted to show that they were one with the community. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship could light have with darkness? Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14, 15, and 17. There you go. But anyway, actually it's just 14 and 17. But anyway, so if you look at what happened here, now again, if DeSantis wouldn't have, who knows what would have happened. Aaron and I weren't closing the church. It wasn't staying open. That was it. I already told my family, you may have to get ready for me to be arrested. But it hasn't. It hasn't. But we need to understand how real this is, because for basically for all of us, and there may be, I've had some or J6, maybe more than one. I can't remember exactly, but one for sure. And I don't want to name names or whatever. But anyway, been in contact with one J6 defendant who came to our church for a while. Now he lives somewhere else. But anyway, if you look at what exactly happened here, I want everybody to live in reality. You're looking at a man here, Enrique Tarrio. First of all, was never in Washington D.C. on J6 or anywhere near J6. He was nowhere near D.C. He was not in D.C. on January 7th or the 5th. Nothing. He was never there, and was charged with sedition with another little attachment to it. But anyway, so he was charged with this, and they used knowingly, because the DOJ knew that was an edited video. Imagine that. These are officers of the court. Even whether you're defense or whether you're prosecutorial or you're a judge, you are an officer of the court. You are bound to the truth. They knew that video was edited and allowed him to be sentenced to 22 years. And think about how stupid it is anyway. Because first of all, what did Enrique Tarrio do? Nothing. He didn't instigate any violence. He didn't tell anybody to commit any violence. All that they did was say, look, this is what Trump, and they tried to get, remember the video I showed before, marched into his cell and said, we'll release you on Friday. If you just give us a confession saying that you were instigated to commit the actions that he didn't commit, that weren't crimes, again, instigate actions that weren't crimes that he didn't do, that you were instigated to do all those things by Donald Trump, he refused to do it. So basically, all they got to do is get you into a blue jurisdiction and say, you know what, look, President Trump vacuously said, let's march on the Capitol, let's say. And of course, he said peacefully and patriotically too, but those were all cut out too. But anyway, all they have to do is say, did you watch that video? So then you are now guilty of this grand seditious conspiracy then. That's all that they need to convict you in a blue jurisdiction, because everybody there is against you, except for maybe your own attorney. But a lot of times, even your own attorney's against you because they're backroom dealing, because they're all actually Democrats. That's how everyone just please. It's not like TV. The attorneys in a community, whether they're prosecutors or defense attorneys, private, government, judges, they all know each other. They have lunches together. They have meetings together where all the legal minds meet, and they all work out deals with people's lives. Yes, everything's a freaking fraud. Everything. Tom, how can you say that? You were a cop for all those years. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't work out a lot of deals. I didn't work out any deals. If I was called to testify, I went and testified. But anyway, it's all corrupt. They used the DOJ knew it was an edited video and used it to sentence this man to 22 years in prison for doing nothing and sleep like babies at night. And I'm literally sleeping like babies at night. I shouldn't even talk about corrupt judicial system because, again, I could go on for an hour on it. I could just go one story after another. I could go Navarro, Bannon, Alex Jones, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn. I could break down each case. But anyway, I'm not going to do that to you. All right, so anyway, you can just side by side this next one, guys. U.S. Southern Command video, put this out. So Donald Trump has been scared off, I guess. He's been scared off I guess not. Because that was December 15th. What's today, Aaron? 16th? Today is 16th?
16th, yeah.
So yeah, this was yesterday. So all of the ramblings and rantings of Chucky Schumer and all of the rest of them, absolutely zero impact. I love it. None. He just continues to do it. Good. This is what you do. They complain about blowing up one boat on September 2nd, blow up 10 on September 3rd. Yep. That is the way you win. That is exactly how you win. You go from what they don't have time to settle on a problem. Blow up, make sure you blow up a whole bunch to celebrate Christmas. And that way, la 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 la, boom. But there you go. And set it to music and piss them off. That's great. Here's the thing. I don't agree with what Trump put out about Rob Reiner. What I mean by that is I just wouldn't have put out some of the rhetoric. I would not have been conciliatory at all. I've been like, okay, this was, there was Rob Reiner. I wouldn't have put out anything, to be honest with you. This is a guy who hates you. I wouldn't have put out anything. But if someone asked, I would have just said, well, obviously I was not a big fan, but it's never good when somebody gets murdered. Okay, that's it. That's what I would have done. But anyway, the one great thing about it is it gives them a whole nother story. Just keep throwing the idiots their little treats. That's what you do. Just throw them their treats. Never give them what they want, but just throw them the distractions all the time. And this is what you do. They're all upset about September 2nd, where you had the original, the original shipwrecked sailors that they went and did a double tap on. Well, go do 10 more. Just go keep hitting them over and over. And make sure you do one that is a double tap. Find one that's a triple tap over and over again. That's what you do. So congratulations. Good moves here. Let's go to the border. And a video. This is unbelievable. Minnesota does not verify the citizenship of candidates running for elected office. But don't worry, all of our elections are absolutely pure. All of our elections are absolutely beyond reproach. And if you dare criticize them, you're guilty of sedition, or you are a threat to democracy. But in Tim's state of Minnesota, they don't even verify that a candidate is actually a citizen of the United States of America. Play it for me.
They didn't verify her citizenship, and they actually don't.
So how do you verify their citizenship if they're foreign-born? But that's outside of our realm. There's no authorization in the statutes for us to follow, double check on people, verify their status and things like that. They signed the affidavit. That's the certification statement, and that's just the way it is right now. There is no law that requires us, and in fact, we would, because there is no law telling us to do that, we would be violating the laws by checking up on people. We don't verify everybody is a citizen. We don't verify everybody is a citizen. We don't verify everybody is a citizen.
Okay, everyone, you just heard it. When a candidate goes to file to run for an elected office, the state is not verifying you as citizen.
And they've already found, let's see now, college professor who was illegal, a police chief who was illegal, and now we know why, because all of our leaders, who are just really our piss boy representatives, are not verifying the people running for political office are actually United States citizens, which, by the way, is a requirement. Look at the country we live in.
Yeah.
All right, look at this one. Alex Barnicode video. I love the commentary here. If a small prop plane enters British airspace, the UK will scramble for $120 million Typhoon fighter jets to potentially shoot it down. But if a boat filled with 60 military-aged men arrives who we don't know, the UK escorts them in, gives them a hotel room and a free cell phone. Play it for me.
If a small prop plane enters into UK airspace without permission, the UK will immediately scramble 4 of the best fighter jets they have, Eurofighter Typhoons, to chase after it and possibly shoot it down if it does something it shouldn't do. Quite rightly, that's what you'd expect from a country, to protect their borders. Except if a boat filled with 60 military-age males, no women and children, comes on and lands on the shores of Dover, the UK will do nothing. The UK will escort them in. In fact, the UK will give those people quite a luxury lifestyle, even though we don't know who they are or where they're from. Now, I'm not giving an opinion on this, because in the UK you can be arrested for giving an opinion on that. I'm just asking why. Why do we have the double standard that if a plane flies illegally into UK airspace, we don't know who it is, who their intentions are, what it's going to do, we will quite rightly go and intercept it to make sure it doesn't do something bad. But if a similar thing happens on the ground, and people we don't know their intentions in a similar way, come in much bigger numbers and land on the shores of the UK, we'll do nothing. Why is that? Just asking a question.
Yeah, they leverage you into a one world commerce system just off of that video. And it's a good young man, but I'm just saying, you see how they leverage you? His speech is already controlled. Eventually, you will say what you are allowed to say, or you will not be allowed to participate in the one world commerce system. Eventually, it ends up with a mark on your right hand or on your forehead, Revelation 13, 16 through 18. He says, I can't offer an opinion because I'll be arrested for it. 13,000 arrests per year in the UK, 400 a year. 400 a year in Russia, and 300 or 400 a year in China for speech violations under regimes that the UK says are authoritarian, that they need to fight in the Ukraine, which is another authoritarian regime that has no elections and no opposition media and censors speech. So what, I mean, again, I say this as I said last night. Who are our allies? Our allies are Nazi regimes, banning speech. Look, Aaron, you jump in too. What is the difference between today's UK and Nazi Germany 1939? Explain that to me. Because they've already banned guns, right? They are imprisoning their own citizenry. They are banning speech. They have nationalized health care. What's the difference? I mean, it is an authoritarian regime. Why are they our ally and not what we are? You know where our allies need to be? Hungary and Poland. Substitute right now. Substitute France and UK, and let's go with Hungary and Poland. And here's the real startler for everybody. Let's go with Russia.
Yep.
Let's make Russia our ally. They certainly are more like us than the UK. Russia, you're not allowed to lop off penises, testicles, and breasts in Russia. They have an Orthodox Christian church in Russia, not Ukraine, in Russia. Now you're like, well, they've done terrible things. Have we not? How many, and you know, I conflated this the other night. I had to send Aaron, no, it wasn't really an apology, but I was just letting him know that he was right. Because Aaron was like, we're talking about drone strikes inside of Syria by Obama, and I had conflated drone strikes with airstrikes. So there was a lot more airstrikes than there was, drone strikes. But you look how many drone strikes and airstrikes we did into Syria. How many people were killed? Now, Chucky Schumer and Chris Murphy and all the rest of them have no problem whatsoever with any of those things, with killing innocent civilians. But they have a real problem double tapping shipwreck sailors who are actually drug traffickers. But anyway, I digress. So, I mean, how exactly is England better than Russia? Who is, because England just, and it's very difficult to talk about it because it's all a facade. When you're dealing with facade democracy, facade federalistic republicanism, whatever it may be, but it's facade. They just put that name out there and they name themselves democracy, but democracy to them is controlling speech, banning firearms, aborting kids, forcing vaccinations, whatever. And then you have Russia, who is not nearly as bad. They're not. They arrest 400 people a year for speech violations in a country. I don't know how much bigger it is than Great Britain. Way bigger, both geographically and population. Who's more like America? Who's more like America, Russia or Ukraine? It's not even close. And why is everybody against Russia? Because Russia refuses to participate in the world banking system. That's why everybody who doesn't participate in the world banking system, right out of London, is bombed. And yes, obviously also with massive Jewish influence. It's just the truth. You got to hit every angle. The evil and you got to talk about the evil of Barack Obama, and you got to talk about the evil of Benjamin Netanyahu. You don't run from either one. You just tell the truth about them. You talk about when Trump flips things up too. But anyway, if you don't participate, watch it. Who gets bombed? People who are not part of the world banking system that they want to digitize and control. And then they can control the countries through the world banking system by not giving loans. And they can just cut you off. Who stole all of Russia's money? The United States.
Yep.
All their money that they had in U.S. dollars was confiscated by the Biden administration. We're not evil? Our founding is not evil. But our current system is incredibly evil. We need to really, really reevaluate who our allies are, because I'm wondering, you're telling me that Russia is more evil than France when you have Emmanuel Macron noticeably married to a man and also very fascistic and authoritarian? But anyway, it's back to the border. Dapper detective video. Breaking Good Samaritan. Here we are again. One right after another. We got to spend all day on these stories. Good Samaritan rescues a woman in Miami being raped at gunpoint. Knife point, correction. While doing her laundry by, can anybody guess who was doing it? Play it for me.
A woman nearly raped while simply doing her laundry.
And police say her attacker held her at knife point until a neighbor rushed in to help. Local 10's Byron Tollison live in Hialeah with the harrowing details. Byron.
Well, just moments ago, we talked with the family of this victim. They are just grateful that the suspect is finally in custody. They're also grateful for the neighbor who helped stop this from going any further.
I was coming late at night from work and I was ready to go to bed.
Andy Plaza remembers hearing his neighbor screaming from the laundry room in their Hialeah apartment complex. Last Tuesday morning around 2:30, police say that 21-year-old Luis Rodas Martinez was armed with a knife and pinned the woman against a washing machine, holding the knife to her torso and trying to rape her. Police say Plaza confronted the attacker and the suspect let her go. and then took off running through the parking lot.
The police are calling you a hero. How does that make you feel?
It doesn't make me feel special. I would have done the same thing for anybody. It's just, I'm a father, I'm a neighbor, I'm a human being with a heart, and I would have assisted any other person that needed me.
The suspect finally taken into custody Sunday and appearing in court Monday morning, a judge denying him bond.
The armed kidnapping, it's no bond.
Armed kidnapping, knife point, and attempted rape. And if you didn't have a bystander, a hero bystander to come and rescue the woman, she'd be a rape victim right now and probably dead. All from somebody imported by Joe Biden. Now, do I know for sure it was Joe Biden? No, but I can pretty much guarantee you it was one of the 15 million people he allowed in the country. So there you go again. We could spend all day, every day on those slides alone. One victim after another of a low IQ immigrant allowed into this country, an animal allowed into this country. All right, let me show you this one. Let me do some gun stuff here real quick. Define L's video. Jasmine Crockett. This is now the brain surgeon, the astronaut of the Democratic Party now. This is now their leader. Charlemagne. Is it Charlemagne? Charlemagne. What is that? Yeah,
Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God.
Yeah.
Charlemagne. He says this is the person everyone needs to be paying attention to now. Democratic Party, this one right here, this genius. But anyway, here, listen to her espouse statistics that A, don't exist, and B, are completely wrong. Play it for me.
I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within.
I mean, you just have to look at the asinine nature of that statement, all right? 80% of the most violent crimes were committed by white supremacists. So there is thousands of murders per year in the United States. In Chicago alone, which all of them are committed by black men, statistically speaking. 97% of black homicides are committed by other black people. So how exactly do those numbers resonate with anybody? If you're a leftist and you watch that, how do you embrace something that is statistically incoherent, statistically impossible? Because if it was all these white supremacists, it would be all these news stories of these skinheads committing these mass atrocities. The only people that are committing mass atrocities are transgender Democrats, as illustrated with Brown University. Or, of course, Muslims imported by Democrats. Or Hispanic people imported by Democrats. And of course, there are Americans that commit crimes too, but certainly not 80% of all of the most heinous crimes are committed by devout, publicly espousing white supremacists. I mean, wouldn't all the articles be white supremacists attacks again? I mean, believe me, if that was, give me a believe me. Aaron.
Believe me.
If that was happening, the headline of USA Today, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever it may be, it would every day. Another white supremacist, struck again.
Yep.
Another white supremacist struck again. It would be all 80% of crime. 80% of violent crime is actually committed by white supremacists. It's not even remotely conceivable. And that would be 80% of black homicides are committed by white supremacists. The number one cause of death in the black community are Democratic Party abortion mills. The number one cause of murder in the black, which abortions are, but outside of abortionist murder, the number one cause of murder in the black community are other black men. So how would 80% of those murders, the most heinous crimes, be committed by white supremacists when 97% of black homicides are committed by black men? Explain that to me. I'm just curious. But anyway, all right, so here's the actual stats. Firearm homicide rate per 100,000. Let's look at U.S. black people. 19.8 out of 100,000. U.S. Hispanic, 6.4. Look at the white people, 1.7 out of 100,000. Out of 100,000 homicides, 1.7 of them are committed by a white person. 20 of them are committed by black people. So 20 times the amount of homicides are committed by black people per capita.
Crazy.
Weird, isn't it? And this is what the leading Democratic Party politician espouses? Truly amazing. I mean, it really is truly amazing. And what's really sad is like lap dogs with their tongues out. Democrats sit there and watch and go, oh man, that's good and that's deep. There's the truth though. There's your, and by the way, there's your sources on the bottom, OECD, WHO, and CDC, which are all left-leaning. And even they cannot put out propaganda where white people are committing all the crimes. Unbelievable. So there you go. 1 out of 100,000 white people commit a murder. 20 out of 100,000 black people commit a murder. But most murders, most of the violent crimes, that's why 56% of all violent crime is committed by 13% of the population. Tom's a racist. No, I'm not a racist. Just replace with the R on another word, realist. What's real? So it doesn't mean that I have any animus towards black people. I don't care what race you are. I'm saying what is the truth. And to have Jasmine Crockett up there just bold-faced lying like that is, I mean, and people believe it's unbelievable. But anyway, what does Ilhan Omar believe? This is Amjad Taha video. Where does Ilhan Omar stand? Play it for me.
A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. And so if fear was the driving force of policies to keep America safe, Americans safe inside of this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Hey, Joe, you got your chart available again? So there she is, espousing the exact same thing, that what we should be doing is tracking and monitoring white men. 1.7 versus 19.8. I mean, why would you do that when 19, really 20 out of 20 out of 100,000 homicides, or out of 100,000 firearm homicide rate per 100,000 people. So if you are black, 20 out of 100,000 commit a homicide. 1.7 out of 100,000 white people. Now, because there's so many more white people, you end up with somewhat close numbers of murders, but not per capita. The odds of committing a murder as a white person are 1 in 100,000. A black person, 20 in 100,000. And she says who needs to be tracked? The people who have a 1%, have a 1 in 100,000% chance of committing a crime. And they need to be, you see how asinine these people are? Here's one more for you. The video. Fun fact. The U.S. rankings. Here's the U.S. rankings. I can't remember whether it's violent crime or gun crime. Play it for me.
Here's a fun stat for you. America, out of 193 nations, is ranked 3rd in gun violence. What's interesting, however, though, is if you were to remove the top 5 cities in America of gun violence, all run by Democrats, all liberal, and all have the most gun control, America would drop to 189th. Maybe it shows you that gun control leads to more gun violence, but doesn't stop it. Just a thought.
You're 3rd in the world in gun violence. 3rd in the world. But if you just simply remove Chicago, New York, LA, all 5 top gun crime or homicide. I don't want to say it's all gun crime, but I mean, we know it's gun crime, and we know who it is that's committing the gun crime in those cities. Although nobody will say it, it's black people.
Right.
But it is. I mean, it's not racist to acknowledge it. I mean, it simply is what is accurate. Tyler Robinson's a white guy, and they said he killed Charlie Kirk. I'm not afraid to say he's white. But anyway, so we rank 3rd in the world in gun violence. That's what it was, gun violence. But if you remove the top 5 gun violence cities in the United States, every last one of them controlled by Democrats, we go to 189 in the world. And then Ilhan Omar, AOC, all of the Jasmine Crockett, all of the rest of them say that what you're supposed to be targeting are white men. We should be, as Ilhan Omar said, we should be tracked. We should be tracked as white men. Are the white men, what are these white men in these Democrat-controlled cities committing all these homicides? These basically are all black homicides, and 97% of black homicides are committed by black men. But yet we're the ones who are supposed to be tracked. You see how these people are truly, truly unbelievable. I mean, in the most pure sense, unbelievable, because all they do is propagandize and bold-faced just demonically lie. All right, 1019, that's good. Rumble Rants tonight, BP2, Tim 17, $20. Jules, 21 hours, $10. Richard Perry, 49, $10. Thank you so much, Jules, for always being in the rant. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all three of you in the rant tonight. Love you guys. Love you guys also in the chat. Appreciate you being here every night, 568 people. Right here, getting close to Christmas. I'm glad our numbers are staying the same, that we're not going down at all. Appreciate you guys. Of course, we're going to be off a big chunk of time during Christmas. 2 weeks over Christmas, we'll be off. Got to give people time off at some point. But not, Friday's our last show before Christmas. So there you go. But anyway, still doing church, though. You can still see Aaron. You can still see me at church. You can see Joey playing the bass guitar in church on Sunday. But anyway, stick around for the postgame. Postgame's awesome tonight. You got to stick around for the postgame. It is great. Back here tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Love you guys. God bless you. How many of you right now are in the process of falling away? I know nobody preaches it. You know why nobody preaches it? Because the devil's got a hold of their tongue and they're motivated by church growth instead of gospel preaching. That's the problem. They're motivated by quote unquote success instead of doing what God has called them irrevocably to do, which is to preach the gospel. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel, said Paul.
Have you ever had a question you were too afraid to ask? Or a thought you knew everyone was thinking but no one dared to say out loud? Welcome to the Hope Hotline, where nothing's off limits and we say what others won't. Real talk, raw truth, your questions finally answered.
Thanks for watching the Tom Laipply Podcast. We appreciate your support. As a special thank you, when you donate $25 or more, you will get a free TLP koozie. Enjoy your favorite cold drink while tuning in to our latest takes on current events. Your support keeps us going. Donate now to claim yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh from winning Britain has no talent. Here for one night only, singing their viral hit. The Ballad of Rashid Serbors, the illegal migrant. Please welcome the swinging, singing, truth-slinging legends, Barry Britt and the Four Nations.
When the moon shines on the channel and the sea is not too rough, they arrive by Border Force Uber, saying I'm here for my free stuff. Oi mate, here's a new phone and new trainer. He's an illegal migrant. He claims he's underage. He's an illegal migrant, though his beard says he's middle-aged. Right lad, off to school you go. Row, row. He's prioritized for housing, fully furnished and rent-free, while Jack, who served in hell, man, sleeps beneath an old oak tree. Sorry, mate, his needs are greater, so fuck off. He walks into the doctor's, gets a checkup on the spot, books a dentist for next Tuesday, while your teeth fall out and rot. You're not on the priority list, tough titty! Oh, he's an illegal migrant, doesn't give a toss for our laws. He's an illegal migrant, needs a swift kick to the balls and a boot up the arse. He's living it up in London with a smirk from ear to ear. Says when they talk or wander, thanks to Labour, I've nothing to fear. Now he's a Labour voter. He's a Labour all the time. Yes, he's a Labour voter, 'cause they all love Palestine. Palestine.
From the river to the sea, everything he gets is free.
He demands a house in Surrey and a car that's bloody brand new. Says I've risked my life to be here. Now pay me or I'll sue.
And while you're at it, give him your daughters too.
Now he's an Islamist fighter. He now lives in Birmingham. Now he's an Islamist fighter, preaching against the British man.
Alan Snackbar, you infidel.
Yes, he's the Islamist fighter. Yes, the one from Birmingham. The one that's now an MP. He will soon be Labour's main man.
Next stop, London Stay.
Listen to how disgusting Jamie Lee Curtis is in this clip and how I'm going to debunk her TDS.
You have to have empathy. You have to care about people. He does not care about anybody but Donald J. Trump.
Jamie Lee Curtis, it's losers like you that actually don't care about people.
He's never demonstrated anything.
In 1988, he used his private jet to transport a 3-year-old all the way from Los Angeles to New York for specialized treatment because he had a rare breathing disorder. An Army veteran was diagnosed with stage 3 bladder cancer, and his family was concerned about his medical bills. Once he started his treatment, he realized he wasn't receiving any bills, finally learned out from the hospital that Donald Trump had privately paid for all of his medical treatment. In the 1990s, Donald Trump's private pilot's wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was going to be $30,000 for her treatment. Donald Trump paid for all of it and then continued to pay for her additional care. In 1986, he learned of an elderly woman that had $77,000 of debt, and her family farm was going to be taken away because of her husband's suicide. He paid off the debt and paid off the farm so that her family could keep it. In 2008, when Jennifer Hudson lost her mom, brother, and nephew, Donald Trump housed the rest of their family in Trump Tower for a very extended period of time at no cost. He encountered a woman on the Brooklyn Bridge that was about ready to end her life. He stopped, he talked with her, he prayed with her, and then he slipped her a $100 bill. She framed it and then later credited him for saving her life. In the 90s, he came up on a stranded motorist on the New Jersey highway. He stopped to help him, and after learning about his financial and medical issues, Donald Trump sent a check to pay for all of it. In the 1980s, he learned from the news about a family that lost their home in New York due to a fire, leaving them homeless, and the dad was facing chronic illnesses. He privately sent them a check to cover housing and medical costs. In 2016, before he announced his presidency, he met a veteran that was struggling with PTSD. He sent him a check for $10,000 to help him get treatment and to help stabilize his family. In the 1980s, he covered the cost of a heart surgery for a little boy whose family was denied insurance coverage. He sent a $10,000 check to a bus driver in New York that found a woman in distress on a bridge where he stopped to talk to her as she was about to end her life. He wrote him a letter talking about his heroism and the donation check. In the 1980s, he paid to repair the elevators in the Harlem hospital. In 1995, Trump's limo broke down on the New Jersey highway. A motorist named George stopped to help them change the tire. Trump paid off his house, over $100,000. In the pre-2000s, he met a homeless woman that he offered to pay for her housing. He put her up in one of his Trump buildings and is paying for it indefinitely, and has paid to have fresh flowers delivered every single day to brighten up her home. When Trump was still in school, one of his classmates' fathers passed away, and Donald Trump's father, Fred, ended up paying for the rest of his education so that he could continue to go to school. Once Donald Trump graduated, he continued that promise and paid for the other 3 kids to finish up their schooling. There are so many more, but I specifically chose ones that were done prior to him even announcing that he was running for his presidency. Because unlike vain celebrities like you that just donate to organizations to get publicity, he actually has a lifetime of selfless service.
What's the solution? You know, if Muslim people are in the wrong and they are committing crimes, you know, no one's above the law.
If the law of the land is Islamic, we respect the law of the land.
What if it's not Islamic?
If it's not Islamic, then the law of the land and those who make it can go to hell, quite honestly, because Allah said in the Quran, in chapter 33, verse 1, he said, "O Prophet, fear Allah and do not obey the disbelievers and the hypocrites." Is David Cameron a Muslim or a disbeliever? Guys,
I can't speak on Cameron,
so you can't obey him. So he can go to hell, as well as all of the other leaders.
Do you think I should go to hell because I'm a non-Muslim?
You're on your way to the hellfire because you're a non-Muslim. All non-Muslims are destined for the hellfire.
I'm going to say one thing. Fuck Trump. It's no longer down with Trump. It's fuck Trump.
criticism of you.
Fuck him.
Okay, well, you know, this is cable.
Sorry. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt. He's an idiot. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. I'd like to punch him in the face. Punch him in the face. Of course I want to punch him in the face.
Right.
He's so stupid.
Divisive, racist, misogynist, ignorant.
Stupid. He's a lowlife. A national disgrace. That scumbag. He's sick. Total loser. Fake president. Gangster. First family. Psychopathic, malignant narcissist. Narcissistic and self-centered. He's just obtuse. He's dumb. So stupid. When he's in jail, and that I certainly am looking forward to. Take him away in an orange jumpsuit.
How's it going, guys? You got any ID on you guys?
Yeah.
All right, let me see your ID, please.
That's what we get pulled over for?
Well, you say you're asking why you're getting pulled over? Yeah. Both of you guys are suspected of shoplifting, okay? From Carter's, that plaza you just said you came from?
What?
You might have a warrant up for your arrest.
Oh, what for what?
Yes, ma'am. Out of South Fulton for shoplifting.
What?
Yes, Temple recovered a lot of Carter's clothing, salon hangers. Did you take anything? No. How old are you?
17.
We got charges on both of them. Okay. So? 17. Turn around for me. You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back.
He said that as long as it was under 500, you would get something by the citation.
And it's not under 500. I got the receipt right here.
Let me see, do they know all that stuff 40 and 50% off? They add that?
You don't get discounts when you steal stuff. You get it at the market price.
All right.
Yeah, you don't get discounts when you steal stuff.
Yeah, you say this?
Good boy, good boy. Good boy. Oh, get it, Ronan.
Enzo. What happened?
Naomi.
Oh, the
Where you
weather
going?
outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping. And I've brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so,